Are you sick and tired of dieting, always feeling like you have to watch what you eat and still not seeing the real results? I'm going to share 3 things with you today to get you back on track to reach your goals once and for all, and even do it while not really feeling like you're on a diet. Hi, I'm Ingun, a Norwegian Viking living in Canada. I'm here every week to share the no BS truth about weight loss, fitness, and healthy lifestyle. It's based on science, yet it's made super simple. Now, if you feel stuck while on a diet, one thing that you have to do is to make sure you find a diet that actually works. Now, when I say actually works, the thing is, basically any diet will work as long as you eat fewer calories than you burn. So you could go, and I'm not suggesting that you do, but you could go on a chocolate diet, for instance, where you only eat chocolate for a certain amount of time and you could still lose weight doing just that, as long as you eat fewer calories than you burn. However, when I say find a diet that actually works, what I mean is that you need to find a diet you can actually stick to long term. And in my opinion, that means you need to find a diet where you can eat until you're full and still lose weight if that's what you're trying to do, because you'll naturally be restricting calories even though you eat until you're full. You also need to actually enjoy the food that you eat. That's very important, because you're not going to stick to a diet long term if you're not enjoying it. And the third thing is that the food needs to be nutrient dense, which means that even if you're eating fewer calories, you're still getting all the nutrients that you need. And when you find a diet that can do these 3 things, I think you have a diet where you can be successful long term and not feel miserable while doing it. Now, what could this type of diet actually look like? Well, protein is very satiating, so making sure you include enough protein in your diet, you may naturally restrict your calories because you feel full sooner. And foods rich in protein are also some of the ones that, some of the real foods that we find the most tasty. And some of the best protein sources out there are also very nutrient dense and contain basically all the essential nutrients that we need. Now, since we're trying to lose weight here, we should be limiting the amount of fat and carbs that we eat. Though I would argue that we should eat less carbs than fat. And here's why. Fat is needed in order for us to absorb fat-soluble vitamins. Fat is also very tasty, and it doesn't block us from burning fat. Carbs, on the other hand, are not essential, and they increase our insulin levels, which can actually block us from burning fat. Eating carbs may also slow our metabolism more than on a low-carb diet, especially if you've already lost a bit of weight. So, and I made a video specifically about this, so if you're interested, check it out. I'll link to it below this video. Now, one easy way to eat less carbs is simply to eat only real food, meaning single ingredient, minimally processed foods, such as vegetables, meat, fish, eggs, that type of stuff. And that means no bread, pasta, cookies, candy, sugary drinks, and of course making sure you eat enough protein. Now again, the point here is to find a diet that actually works, that we can stick to long term. And there's a lot of studies showing that low carb diets are very effective when it comes to weight loss. Though I would go one step further and to make sure you eat enough protein and that the diet is nutrient dense, and that the food you eat is actually tasty as well, that you enjoy this type of food so that you'll want to stick with it long term. A quick reminder, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on notifications to follow my channel and be notified when my new video comes out. I would really appreciate it, and also make sure to follow me on Instagram at VikingIngun. Now, the second thing to do is to find your motivation and set goals. So it's kind of a 2-in-1 right there. Now, there can be different reasons why you want to lose weight. However, you need to find what's most important to you. There might be certain things you want to be able to do, like play with your kids, do certain things outdoors, climb a mountain. Maybe you're concerned about health issues, or maybe you just want to feel and look great. Whatever your motivation is, you need to find it and visualize it. Make it your goal to get there. And you might want to write it down. Maybe even pause this video right now and write it down, because we all have periods in our lives where we feel so unmotivated. We have zero motivation, we doubt ourselves, we doubt the methods that we're using, we don't see any results, maybe we're gaining weight instead of losing weight, we're not getting there, and we have zero motivation to move forward. And that's why it's so important to be clear from the beginning what your motivations are for and what your goals are as well, and writing it down so that maybe you can look at that whenever you feel unmotivated. And remember, everyone has these periods of zero motivation, and one of the best things to do, apart from looking up and remembering your motivation in the first place and your goals, is to just do something that you can do to get towards your goal. If it is that you feel zero motivation to actually go to the gym, my suggestion is to simply do it anyway, because you're going to feel so much better afterwards, and just taking action and feeling like you've done something, at least even if you have zero motivation, will make you feel more motivated afterwards. And another important thing to help with motivation is to track your progress and even celebrate any milestones or any even small achievements that you make. Tracking your progress means that you can look back and see that you have actually made progress, even though you might not feel like you have gotten as far as you thought you would. You can still see that, well, compared with where you started, you have come very far already. And remember, progress looks like this for everyone. So even though you might have a bit of a fallback every now and then, just make sure that you're on a diet that actually works for you, and keep at it. Be consistent. Just keep moving forward, and you'll get back on track sooner rather than later. Now, the third thing to do is to build a healthy lifestyle rather than going on a diet. And this is key to long-term success. Assuming you're watching this because you want to lose weight, the diet that you used to be on previously made you overweight, right? So it's not healthy, and if you're going to go back to that diet after you lose the weight that you want to lose, then you're just gonna go gain the weight back again, right? So something needs to change. You have to actually change your lifestyle in order to be successful long term. And I have a few pointers in order to do that. The first thing goes back to what we talked about earlier in this video about eating real food that's nutrient dense and tasty. That way we may naturally restrict calories while still getting the nutrients that we need, and we actually enjoy the food that we eat. And we've already talked about what that diet could look like. Now, the second thing I think you're gonna really like, and that is to not be too strict. It's what you do most of the time that counts the most. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think it's a great idea to be extra strict, maybe for a certain amount of time in the beginning, to reach your goals maybe a bit faster. However, it should be a limited amount of time that you know is going to end, so that you stick with it just to get to that end point. And then once you reach that end point, you can start to loosen up the rules a bit. Because the thing is, if you're too strict for too long, chances are you're not going to stick with it. What I would suggest though is to have a schedule so that you know exactly when you are allowed to have your cheat meals. If you don't, it's so easy to just think that this is just one time, I deserve this meal, let me just have it. It's just one time, it's not gonna happen again. Doing it this way, you lose track of how much you've actually been eating, and a few months down the line, you may notice that you've gained quite a bit of weight and you don't understand why. Of course, I'm saying don't be too strict, while at the same time, of course, what you do 80-90% of the time is really what counts. So during that time, it's best to make sure you eat healthy food. And if you eat the type of food that we've talked about earlier, you're really going to want to eat these type of foods because you enjoy it as well. Now, if you do these 3 things that we've talked about here today, I think you're gonna be able to get back on track to reaching your goals without feeling miserable while doing it. Now, here's what I suggest you do right now. Go write down the motivation for you actually losing weight and your goals. Then make a list of all the things that you enjoy eating that fits into that diet that you want to move forward with, and keeping in mind what we discussed in this video. Then take action. Go buy the new food, get rid of any unhealthy food that you might have in your cabinets already, and get going, because you can do this. Now, before you go though, make sure you don't fall into some of the most common mistakes people make when it comes to weight loss. And to help you with that, I've created a free guide called Hack Your Way Out of 3 Weight Loss Mistakes Almost Everyone Makes. The guide will show you how to burn more calories without lifting a finger, how to eat until you're full and still lose weight, and how to eat food that's both tasty and healthy. You can download it for free at vikingingun.com. Now, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, heart, or a like, depending on where you're watching from, and for you to share this video with anyone you know that might need a bit of encouragement on their weight loss journey. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.